Okay, so next video. Shelly, stock up on dry bleach when you can, however you can. Okay, seriously. Alright, this is two different brands, right? It's expensive, but if you buy them in bits and batches, it all starts to add up, and then you get to a point where you just will have Borax for the rest of your life. I bought 5 more. They were on sale at Save-Ons for $6.99. They were at $9.99 regular price, but I have bought Borax on Amazon and Walmart for like $28 for less than this. So whatever, okay. You can get Borax like this on Amazon for $6.99, assuming that they give you your order. So if you're out and about shopping in a grocery store, definitely pick up on some of this, okay? All right, and like laundry sodas and those types of things. And then you want to find those glycerin bars that you can use on fabric to wash by hand or whatever, because what you do is you shred them and you mix them in with some laundry soap and some soda and a little bit of this, and you've got a concentrated laundry soap that will last long, trust me, long. I did a video on it a long time ago. But in the meantime, you want to stock up a little bit of this kind of stuff. This is one that's not so much bleach based, where this one is. I know you can find something similar like this in these dollar stores, but you know, for like that amount, maybe not the same type of product, you're looking at $4 or $5, at least here in Canada. I don't know what you'd find it there, you know, but either or, I'm good to go now. So, and then you just put them away and use them as you need them, because as things, what do you call it? Become either more expensive or become in shorter supply, you know, you still got to do some kind of laundry, right? You need some kind of disinfectant or maybe a bleaching agent, especially if you've got children and, you know, you're in cloth diapers and those kind of things, right? Especially with cloth diapers. I don't know how well this would work on a cloth diaper. I mean, I could try it. I could put a cloth diaper on a Mari and let him poo, and then put it in a bucket, let it sit for a day or two, and then wash it and see if this removes the stain, because bleach will do that. This is a bleach-based product, so it should, right? Because I refuse to spend $15 for a bottle of bleach, and it's already pushing at $11. Like, come on, man. That's pathetic. Like, real fucking pathetic. Sorry, boo-boo pathetic. So, or maybe you just want to disinfect things in general, right? Like anything, you know what I mean? This was $14. That's pathetic. So start thinking about looking for dandelion roots and digging them up and dehydrating them and drinking that, which is better for you than this will ever be. Okay? I'm just saying. Right? So, okay, so I am going to convert this video over. I don't like being in the kitchen when my eyes are gooby, and my eyes are gooby. Yesterday would have been a great day to do what I needed to do, because I was seeing much more clearer. Things were more pronounced, and I don't know, it's like I told my eye doctor, it's a freaking hit and miss. Some days are good and other days are not. But when I go like this, and I look around after I've been using my landlord stuff, I do feel like I can see more out of this eye, even though I've only got 2% octave nerves, quote unquote. So if it was doing me any great damage in terms of the octave nerves, being that I've only got 2 left in this eye, you would think I would notice it, versus saying I think I can see more out of this eye than ever before. Like, I could navigate with an eye patch on. It's not very bright, but you know, I could walk around and do what I needed to do for the most part, in terms of, in a general sense. Obviously I can see better with this eye, but because I don't have the full peripheral vision, what happens is it's like I'm in a fog, and then things blend together, right? In terms of, because the color is not pronounced and my eyes aren't as clear as they used to be. So let me get on with doing whatever I'm doing here. I just really wanted to highlight that you need to, not only are you looking at food, but you're looking at things like this and hand soap and soaps, because the biggest spread of disease in terms of when a society begins to collapse, one is lack of water. That's a big one, okay? And then if the water and if you do have water and it becomes contaminated, that's another one, okay? So you need things to be able to fight back on bacteria and that kind of stuff, right? And by all means, always try and keep your fingers out of your mouth, okay? Even if you're coming into contact with some really grody crap, the best fail-safe method to keep yourself healthy around all that is just don't put your fingers in your mouth, okay? And if for some reason you're splashing around and something splashes in your mouth and it's be fast and quick to spit it out before you swallow it, and chances are you won't get sick. But at the end of the day, stuff like this comes in handy, as well as good old baking soda, okay? Baking soda is a great remover of molds and algae, right? It's a good scrubbing agent. It's a good disinfecting agent, a good cleaning agent, and obviously vinegar is a good disinfecting agent, so get a few jugs of vinegar and just make sure you have them on hand. So as much as you're food prepping, you also need to think about this stuff, okay? And I would like to personally welcome you to the prepper community, girlfriend. Okay, so January 11th of 2023, second video of the day. All right, Shelly. So yeah, you sent me the email talking about getting meat on sale. Okay, so this is the way you do it, right? Now this one was not on sale, but I like fatty pork. And honestly, I wanted to buy more, but this one was $15 and 8 cents. And I kind of want to barbecue it and have it charred a bit. Oh, that'd be so good, good. Either or, I'm going to use some of it in my canning, okay? I know it's got a lot of fat in it, but the fat will rise to the top and it will end up becoming almost like a sealant to your jar, okay? Outside of it might crawl, right? You see, the difference between canning and a pressure canner is because, you know, right, you get that vortex going and it pushes everything up and out. So yeah, when you're done canning, take it out. You're gonna have now mind you, it's been warm in the house. So you see, this is why I gotta get this stuff downstairs. But if you notice, everything is just, it's not solidified, right? So some of that grease has melted down. But this is not the way you necessarily want to store it. You want to store it where it's nice and cold so that it sits like that. Okay? But obviously it's warm, right? So either or, once it gets downstairs, it will solidify. You can see, right? So if you're going to use a bit more fat in your meat, you're just going to get a bit more fat on the top. That's all. Unless, of course, you degrease it. Either or, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to use some of this. Now, I have a ham still. I'm not going to work with the ham right now, okay? I gave 2 of these to my son. I have 2 here. 1, 2. I gave 2 to my son. I told him to throw them into the freezer. He said he's cutting back on pork, ending up to eat more chicken, which I don't really care. He cooks for me, so he's been cooking for Andre all the time. I told him I'm busy all the time. It's not like I'm making full meals. So, you know, I take from Andre, I give to Amari. I try to give, we'll talk about that another day. I'm not going to talk about that right now, okay? Because Amari's, ever since he had his first seizure, with them putting him on that IV and all that crap, and started giving him seizure medicine, as well as they gave me those new drinks. He doesn't want to eat people. food. Unless it's like yogurt and it's just sweet. That's it. It's like so frustrating. You don't even know. Right? Because these drinks, I don't know. They're filling him up or something. And even just whatever. I just don't know. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. So in the meantime, because my son does cook, and I asked him to, you know, if I can have some, especially when I'm doing stuff like this, right? So, you know, I don't care, right? I just gave him 2. But now that I'm doing this, I'm like, Andre, go downstairs and go in the freezer and go grab me that pork so I can count it up. I want it back. But it's frozen now, so I don't want to deal with it. So I'll just deal with what I got here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these up. Cut these up. These were at 14. This one was $14.83 with $4 off. So it's what, 11 bucks? It seems to be a fair amount. Right? I should have done this yesterday, but I went to sleep, people, and I didn't want to wake up. So anyway, it's okay. So the first thing you do is you smell it. It has no off smell, so it's good. Okay. You do that to the second one as well. See, these are bloody. That's why I double bagged them. Perfectly fine. So those are good to go. So one was, what was it? $14.83 with 4 off. And the other one was $11.83 with 4 off. And then there was the 2 that went downstairs. Okay? And this one I was going to fry up that night, but by the time Andre and we got home, we were tired and it didn't happen. And this was $4.69 off with $2 off. Okay? Same idea. You gotta smell it. And just because it smells off doesn't mean it's bad, people. It just means that the blood is starting to go on you, okay? It's perfectly fine. Okay? This one was regular price, so we know don't have to worry about that. Now, when I opened up the chicken I paid here, this was discounted as well. Okay, you have to remember, in the 1500s and those kind of things, those days, back in the 1300s, 1400s, 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, you know, like before they even really had freezers and running water, and, you know, a lot of disease was spread because of lack of basically water, clean water, people, okay? But, you know, and because they didn't have freezers and ice blocks to keep their meat cold and stuff, you know, oftentimes they would eat meat that, you know, was, I don't want to say spoiled, but, you know, it wasn't at par. And, you know, this is where spices came in and salt came in. And because when you cook, right, things at a certain temperature, you kill off anything that's bad, okay? But there is a fine line in there. It comes a time when it's not good for human consumption. But if it has, and I'm telling you this because, you know, times are getting tough, and, you know, people will open a pack and they'll, oh, it smells bad. Well, maybe it's just you need to rinse it off and wash off the old blood. Because if you wash off the old blood, chances are the meat itself is fine. So before you're too quick to throw it out, just keep that in mind. Or if you go out and you buy something like this, thinking you're going to can it tomorrow, but it went one extra day, like in this situation, like it did for me. I bought this on the 9th. Today is the 11th. It's pork. Technically, they say don't leave pork in your fridge for no more than 2 days. Same thing with chicken, especially if it's at a discounted rate. But, you know, it depends how long the product's been sitting per se. In Andre, I don't need that nattering in the background. Not now. Because this is important information. Maybe not for you, but for somebody that doesn't know this stuff, it's important that they receive it into their hippocampus so that they can go to sleep and it could be logged into their long-term memory. Okay? You gotta love that hippocampus, you know. So, you know, you just keep in mind that, you know, just because a government body that says they're here to protect you and keep you safe from pathogens within your food, right? Say you can't do this because of that. Well, there's always room for ease in there. Okay. So, as I was unwrapping these bags, when I got into the chicken, as soon as I opened the bag, now you have to remember, it's double wrapped, okay? So, as soon as I opened up the first bag, got my nose near it, I could smell something, okay? Now, this chicken costed me what does it say? Well, it was $14 per pack. I got it at $4 off. And there's 1.76 kgs. So that's, I don't know how many pounds. 2.2 pounds. So 3, maybe about 4 pounds of chicken. And it's just simple shit. Drumsticks and thighs, back attached. So with the back attached, because the back is attached, what you're going to get now is those little bones that sometimes have little bits of liver. It's a little more gooey, right? And a little more bloody because of where it is on the chicken, right? To which could instigate a quote-unquote smell because of the extra blood, okay? I'm just saying. Right? Now, we know Julian's sister's going to come in and on her next video got something to say about that because she's just some little rich bitch running around town bragging about the stuff that she buys in the grocery store as she goes up on her video saying that Amari looks malnutritioned. Yeah, if he was malnutrition, let me tell you something. He wouldn't be laughing. He wouldn't be giggling. He wouldn't be kicking around and moving around and being a Houdini baby. He wouldn't be saying, I love you. He wouldn't be giving you he'd be what you call listless. Okay? You know nothing. You don't know what you're talking about. So now I opened the package. So the chicken is somewhat suspect. Okay? I'm just being honest with you here, right? Right? It should have been canned yesterday, or it should have went in the fridge, or depending on how old it was before they discounted it, it would be fine. It's a hit and miss. You don't know, right? Because you are getting it at a discount price, okay? Now, as I put my nose to it, I can barely smell anything. The closer I get, you know how when chicken is starting to go, you can kind of get that smell. But if you wash it, you wash away the old blood, okay? And then you smell it again. And if you're really not that comfortable with it, well, chances are it's still good to eat, but I don't know if I would necessarily can it. It depends. Depends on how well it washes off, okay? But in terms of spoilage, no, it would have to sit for a few more days before it would become completely unconsumable. Okay, I'm just saying. Yeah, so, see, the longer it's in the air, the less smell you get, which tells me that it's the blood that we're smelling here, more than anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off this camera, and I am going to chop up everything the way I want it chopped up. And I'm going to use a roasting pan like this. For the pork, because I'm putting in parsnips, to which it was only 5 parsnips for over $8, okay? And this is in January of 2023. That cost me $8. Okay? But it will go really, really nice in with the pork. Okay? So that next year, if you're craving parsnips, and they're $20 for 5 of them, all you have to do is open up a jar. And when you bite into that parsnip, trust me, it's going to taste like a parsnip. And then that's where that comfort food comes in. Okay? I'm just saying. Okay? I do my budgets in a different kind of way. This is how I budget in food security. Right? So now I am going to put everything into trays, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what I'm doing. Hold on. Okay, so the only ones rich around here are those Karens, okay? There is no shame to my game, people. I didn't make it to 60 years old by being an idiot, okay? Do you know how much meat I've dealt with over the years? Too much to count. Feeding 5 kids? Oh my God. You don't even know. Well, if you got almost that amount of kids, I guess you would know. So anyway, this pork is nice. I'm glad I bought it. And my son got a good deal. He got $20 worth of food. Because these are coming in like this. Look at this. This is nice. Okay? I'm not even bothering to take off the fat. The reason I turned on the camera is now, let's just say things get real bad, okay? And you know, you see those videos where people from Poland and Czechoslovakia and places like that, right? Germany or wherever, okay? They don't necessarily have pressure canners. Or when, you know, back in the day before there was even such a thing as a pressure canner, they still have to find ways to preserve their food. And this is where animal fat, especially pork, comes in handy. Because if you can get a layer of pork like that in your jar, everything else underneath is preserved. Okay? And that's after you cook it. But in that situation, they don't cook it in a pressure canner. What they do is they draw up their jars with their food, and then they take a bunch of animal fat, basically. I don't think they render it first. I think they just throw the fat right up on top, and it melts right there in the, or you could render it and then pour it in after the fact, I suppose. Either or, they put in enough, right, so that when they cook it, what they do is they put their jars into a pan, like a pot of some kind with a lid, right? And then they bring it to a boil, and then they turn it down, and they simmer it for like 3 or 4 hours on a medium-low heat with the lid on, and they don't open it, so that, you know, that temperature gets to a point where it kills off any pathogens, whatever that's in the jar for the most part, and it brings in that sealing process, right? And then after they're done, they take the jars out and they seal, and then after everything cools, they've got like 1.5 inch layer of animal fat as an added measure to preserve their meat underneath that animal fat. So, and that's being done without a pressure canner, because that was the only way they could do it in terms of saving meat that came to them while living in a depression or in a war zone or whatever it may be. Now, we have the convenience of a pressure cooker, so we don't have to do that, right? It's just when you use a pressure canner, you get that vortex going. And that's what pushes everything up. Versus sitting in a pan with a lid on it on a low boil. You're not pushing up that grease so much, per se. Right? But as long as your food is in a really cold place, I wouldn't get too anal about it. Like, you know, like I first of all, I can barely even see where the fat is on this, because, like I said, everything blends in together for me. And, you know, I plan on putting this downstairs where it's going to be really cold. And so I'm not too worried about it, right? And, you know, I plan on utilizing it, and, you know, like I don't expect my son to cook for me all the time, unless, of course, I'm completely blind. Then I have no choice. And in that situation, he'd have free reign, right? So he wants me to organize Auntie Shamay's room where the older meats are up in front, and, you know, because he goes, well, you don't want me to touch it, Mom, you know? And I'm like, well, it's not that I don't want you to touch it, you know, right? Just put the old stuff in front that you don't mind if I just grab a jar here and grab a jar there when I want, and, you know, and I'm like, yeah, no problem, right? That's exactly what I want, because, you know.
Drop them.
Huh?
Drop them.
Did you give him some Timothy hay?
No.
Why not? Do they still have hay in there?
Yes, still. They have a lot of hay up there still.
Okay, put the keys back. They got water?
Yeah, they have water.
Great. Okay. So, but I myself, Andre, he loves this stuff with gravy and rice or mashed potatoes, don't you, Andre?
Huh?
You love it when Nana opens up these jars and make rice with mashed potato or mashed potatoes with gravy with these meats, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does.
that's really good.
They are really good. Yeah, they are. So, you're not losing. So there you go. Just even with the 2-packs is filling up this whole thing here, really. I'll probably get about 3 jars, especially 4 jars, maybe more than that, especially because these ones I'm going to be putting in carrots, a little bit of carrots, and all that parsley, basically.
Can I have one?
What is it? Yeah, okay. So, if I would not given my son the 2 that I gave him, I'd have more than enough. But because I did, I'm just going to take this that I was going to fry up with Andre, and I'm going to add this in there. And then the other one, I'll just add a little bit of that one, and that will be more than enough in terms of what I need to do. All right, and then I'll probably do the ham tomorrow. The chicken is in the sink. I already washed it, so it's draining right now. It's a mix match of different types of pieces. Some have what I said with the back there. Others are just a leg by itself. Others are just a thigh. So I figure I'm going to take the skin off. I'm going to render the skin. I'm going to freeze the lard, the chicken lard, okay, for another day, because I don't, you know, I'm going to defat it out, right, as best as, degrease it, I guess you could say, it out as best as I can for what it's worth. And I'm going to cook that one too, so that when I, you know, want to debone it, the meat just comes off fairly good. The problem with that, though, is, you know, it can deteriorate, right? But then I find that if you at least half cook it, the texture is different. You see, that's the thing. The texture is different. Whereas if you put them in raw in a jar, it's a completely different texture. And I like, look at this. Oh my Lord. So, you can see what's going on there. So, in a situation like that, I feel like I struck gold. Because that's lard. That's a whole lot of lard there. Yeah. So, I will work on that. But I am going to take a little bit of this, whatever this is. I wanted the fat because I want to I want it with barbecue sauce, with it crunchy. Right. I'm just going to throw in, I can freeze a bit of this. I'll just throw in an extra piece here. We'll see. See, I don't have too many days left with this. Yesterday would have been such a good day to do this. My eyes were working good yesterday. Today they're back to their self. So I'm going to add in just this little piece that has just a little bit of fat in it. That's fine. I am not worried. So, if you live in an apartment and you do stuff like this, you know, obviously the floor is probably the coldest area that you're going to find. And the closer you can get to facing north, the better it is. Because that just naturally by itself is cold. So I didn't buy this, what I'm cutting here, for this purpose. I bought it for what I want to eat now. Right now. Alright. So, in this situation, it seems to be pulling off a bit. You can render all this. Okay? Pork fat, you can seal your jars and you don't have to put them in the freezer. If it's beef though, you have to put them in the freezer. Just remember that. Alright. So by the time I put in my parsnips, oh, I'll get enough jars anyway. 7 for sure, maybe more. Right? And this fat I could put with the ham fat after the fact. It doesn't matter. Lard is lard. Right? Because I want this fat, but I'm taking off a little piece here for this. So this I'll just put back into the fridge until I do the ham, and then when I render the fat from the ham like I did with the last time I did the ham and I canned it, I'll just throw this in there as well, but not this other one though, except for maybe the larger pieces. I'll just skim it off a bit. It's not a big deal. So you're not losing, okay? You're not throwing out $5 in fat. You gained yourself a pound of lard. That's what you did by rendering it. And you have the option. This is pork. So after it's rendered, you can just put it in a jar, hot, turn it upside down. It will seal, and then you can put it in the fridge, and it will sit there for a long time. You've seen those videos. Andre?
Yeah?
Can you turn off this camera now for me? So I can just continue doing what I'm doing here? Okay, so this I want to eat. That is the fat that I'm going to combine probably with the ham fat after the fact. So these are going in the fridge. Some of this will go into the freezer because I'm not going to eat all that much, and because at one time, and because Andre doesn't necessarily like fat, quote unquote. Not to say that he won't like what I plan on making with this, but you know, either or. I'm freezing half of what's there. I'm cooking up the other half with barbecue sauce, and I'm going to have it charred on, you know, you're going to, right, charred, so it's like a little crispy, right? And then we know what we're going to do with fat. So this is some ginger. So before I put the ginger in there, okay, this is, right, what I have. Now, when I say comfort food, after it's all said and done, and it's in a jar, and this is cooked in this size, okay, as long as it's not too thick, right, that's thinner than an inch. I like them like this so that when you Take a bite. Oh my God. It just melts in your mouth. Oh, I'm just saying. So before we start, we're gonna I'm just using high seasoning salt. That's what I like. Okay. Because this will probably be made into a gravy after the fact with the liquid. Right? And don't forget, fat gives flavor. So don't let it scare you in terms of, well, that's a lot of fat in there. Yeah, well, once it's all spread out, it will be fine. Right? We took, well, it's over there, mostly. Okay? So I'll do that one more time. And yes, I do wipe these down after I'm done. Normally, I don't do this, but I'm holding a camera, so whatever. I'm not overzelling it. I don't need to overdo it. But I just wanted to do it like this first. Right? I mean, everybody has their own way, right? And then we're going to take this ginger, which is in little pieces, because when you bite into that little teeny weeny piece, oh boy, you're going to feel so good. So we're going to put that in there. And then we're just going to throw that in there. This is the way we're going to do it. We're just going to mix everything around now. And then I'm going to throw a bit of water in there. And then I'm going to cover it up with some tin foil. My roasting pans are someplace else. I can't get into them. Otherwise, I'd have a roasting pan with a lid on them. But besides that point, doesn't really matter. And it's all going to cook together. And then you're going to take that, put it in your jar, and then whatever's left over for liquid, because you kind of want to keep it, you distribute it between your jars. And then after the fact, if you still need a little liquid, that's when you just put in some boiled water. That's it. So you want to try and keep as much liquid as you can, okay? So it's important that you cover this up. And I'm just going to cook it now. And that's what's getting canned. So hold on. How can I do this? I'm trying to use my lip. It's not working. Is this even recording? Yeah. Okay, so for $10, right? I already cut it up to make crackling. I'm going to put this on a small little pot. Cook it on low on the stove. And I'll probably get, like last time, and this is where it starts to add up, Shelly. A little bit here, a little bit there. Last time I got, what was it? A quarter pint of pure chicken fat. Okay, which is really, really good for frying. Especially with potatoes and stuff like that. It's delicious, okay? And then after you jar it up or whatever, put it in your container, you freeze it, okay? Because it's chicken fat, right? And then the crackling, well, I bought some lettuce, so not tonight, because Andre wanted, what is that called? Chicken nuggets or something with real breast meat, breaded. It was two boxes for $18. Buy one and get one free. And so I let him do that. So I don't need to be eating chicken. I might get 2 jars out of this, what I got here. Okay. And then the bones, I'm going to end up making a small pot of bone broth. I'm going to stew the bones after the fact. Okay. For a day or two in a small pot. Because that's not a lot of bones. And then see how that goes. And apparently you can even dehydrate bone broth. So we'll see. We'll see how much I boil it down. So I just basically put some water in there because that's the juice I want to can this chicken in. I want to can it in its own juices. Okay? And I took off the skin. And because it's mostly skin, you're not going to get a lot of fat. That's why you're only going to get maybe a quarter pint, which is about a half a cup. Okay? Or is it a quarter cup? I don't know. A pint is a what? A cup, maybe? And then a half a pint? No. That is a pint. The next size down is a half a pint. The next size down is a quarter pint. So, I guess a quarter pint is about a quarter cup. But a quarter cup is enough for one meal. And if you get enough quarter cups, it won't be long before you have 5 cups. And then you really be greasing. Everybody be like, what kind of oil do you use to fry your potatoes in? It's so tasty. And you can just tell them it's your secret ingredient. It's the chicken fat that you rendered. I'm going to just put that in there. Oh, I so want a coffee. Now I got to wipe everything down, including this, because that's where you'll get sick with listeria and salmonella and that kind of thing from raw chicken by cross-contaminating stuff, okay? And then after it's all said and done and all wiped and whatever I've got there washed, then I'm going to go get some jars because I bought a new case of jars. I like wide mouth. If I have no choice, I will do in regular mouth, but I prefer wide mouth. And if you notice, the grease is melted. So I'm taking these downstairs like soon. Okay? Because that's why down to the ground, on the floor, closest to the north wall, even if you're in an apartment, it doesn't matter. Just figure out which is north and start kind of like, right? I mean, if you can store them someplace else where you know they're safe, that's good too, right? Yeah. Okay, so I so want my sugar fix, my coffee fix. So I'm going to just get this going. I put some of that pork that I like in the freezer. I don't know. This thing is like, no more room in there, but I've got other freezers that are whatever kind of full too, but besides that point. And then I put the fat in the fridge, and then tomorrow I will attempt to do the ham like I did with the last ham, right? Debone it, take off the fat, render that fat, freeze it because it's got hickory smoke in it, right? So again, label it. But at the same time, I'm going to render the lard that's in there as well together with the ham fat. And then I'll just jar them up and freeze them as is. Right? Or fold them up. Right? You know, because you have to kind of get that gelatin after the fact, because it's hard to defat ham, right? You got a lot of meat, which is going to release a lot of juice, so but then you've got that good juice, right? To which that last one I did actually didn't work. It ended up going down the drain because I never got to it, so I should have just went with my first gut instinct, and I should have put that into my jars when I had the chance. So, I'm just saying, right? So that's probably what I'll end up doing. Because I might even, like, I'm going to can what I've got in the oven. This is what this video is about. And I might even, as it's canning, that will be a good time to defat that ham and start rendering it so that by tonight I can put it in the fridge and it can solidify, grease on top, gelatin on the bottom, and then take that gelatin, warm it up, and when I'm ready to cook the ham, instead of using water, use that juice first and then top off with water if you need it. If you need it. That's what I should have done the first time around. But we don't, you know, we think we're super women in the kitchen and we have all this energy. I mean, back in the day, yeah, it wouldn't have been the problem, but these days, oh, I don't know, people. My days doing this are getting pretty close to almost none. So really, my son doesn't have much to worry about. And after he eats it all, he'll be like, Mom, are you going to do any more? And I'll be like, well, no, I can't. I can't see anymore, right? But I'll tell you how to do it, or you can go watch my videos. Okay, so now I've taken this out of the oven just to see what's going on, right? So what I'm going to do, because it's kind of stuck together, I'm just going to break it up. It does not need to cook anymore because it's going to go in the pressure canner yet. Okay? But we just want to break it up a little bit so that, you know, I guess you could say that meat tenderizes maybe. How about that? Right? Try to keep your parsnip whole if you can. It might even be too cooked, but whatever. It is what it is. Okay? And then just stir it around, put the tinfoil or your lid back on, and just, in this case, because I've got chicken still in the oven that's not quite done yet, I would think, I'm going to just leave this on the stove until the chicken's done. And then I'm going to check the chicken, turn off the oven, or just keep it on warm maybe. Maybe I'll keep it on warm, right? And, what do you call it? Oh, I still have to can this yet. I can't see very well. Everything is kind of blended in there for me. I think maybe those parsnips got a little more overdone than I wanted. Hard to say. I guess it's kind of holding. Well, no, it's breaking up. You can see that, right? But whatever, it's still going to taste good. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Okay? And
good.
It is good, but I'm canning this. After I told you you can do your chicken things.
Oh, my chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
Can I go get you?
Yeah, what is Mari doing first, though?
Chilling.
Okay, well, is he penciled in?
Yeah.
Okay. So, alright. Either or, you see what I'm doing here, right? Good enough. That will not be enough liquid, I don't think, for the jars. But first we fill up the jars, then we add in the liquid that's in this, and then we top it off with water. And then we can it for 90 minutes because of the meat. So it doesn't matter what you put in there. Although I wouldn't recommend frozen vegetables. I really wouldn't. Okay? And honestly, the parsnips sort of went halfway in, so it would have been maybe halfway cooked, so that by the time it got into the jar, it would have held its shape. But other than that, it's still going to add flavor, so I wouldn't worry about it. Right? This, you can see what's going on here. Right? Just to keep it simple on yourself. I'm just using a little strainer. I'm not even trying to put a cheesecloth on that. Okay? And just run it through your little strainer. And let's see how much of this we get. Okay? And then I'm listening to the video that I did. I'm going to start converting, and then once it's converting, that's when I'm going to come in here and I'm going to wash jars, 7 of them. And that's when I'm going to start filling them up. Can that for 90 minutes, to which that's probably when I'll start defatting that ham, I suppose. Because I have to stand here anyway, right? And watch the canner, right? And then we'll see how much is left and if it's even worth canning. If it's worth canning, another 3 more jars, because I think I can get 3 jars, preferably 4. That would be best, but I doubt it. Then, what do you call it? That's what I'm going to do. And then tomorrow, I'll attempt to do the ham, based on my energy level. And what's going on with this? Some days I can see better, but then because I'm using these drops, they're making me crash. I'm wanting to sleep. I get up, and it's worse. So, you know, what you gonna do, right? So I'm going to go back and finish with this video. I'm going to leave this out right now, and I'm going to give the chicken probably about another 20 minutes or so. Maybe no more than a half an hour, just so I can pull the meat off the bones, put the bones into a pot and start stewing them and let them stew for a day or two, right? To get that really deep, rich bone broth, and I might even boil it down, people. Okay? Versus keeping it like that, I might just boil it right down. Hard to say what I'm going to do with it. And in a situation like that, you can actually dehydrate it, just so you know, right? But I'm dehydrating raisins, so that's not the agenda. So I'll be back. Hold on. Okay, so I got 5 jars of the pork and the mashed up parsnips. But that mashed up parsnips is going to make everything taste good. I overcooked the parsnips. Sometimes it happens. Whatever. Okay. And then, out of all that chicken for $10, which really wasn't very much, people, I got 1 jar. And I'm just going to give the bones to the animals outside because, you know, I got all these stray cats coming to the house. That little gray cat with his white paws is back at the door. So... This is the crackling, oh my god, from the chicken. It is so, so, so good. I love it. I'm going to save that little bit for salad tomorrow. Because Andre will eat that. That's for sure. That's my little bit of chicken fat. Do you see? So another half a pint. Sorry, a quarter pint. Just make sure when you put your lid on that you write what it is. And yeah, I'll probably freeze it because I'm too busy to get to it, and I don't like putting things in my fridge, especially when they're small like that. Then they get pushed to the back and I forget about them and end up chucking them out, right? So I've been really making an effort to freeze these things as I go. Not that I have a lot of room in my freezer, but, and like I am, I'm getting kind of tired of doing this, people. All right. So I'll take that off with Vim and then put chicken fat, right? Chicken lard. I'll put chicken lard. But yeah, like when I go next time shopping, it will be the next time I go see an eye doctor. And I'm just going to stock up on my canned salmon already pre-canned. And maybe those kind of things, right? But in terms of, well, I'm not going to say never. Depends on what's on sale. There has to be three cartons or more. Otherwise, doing 1 pack of chicken in 1 jar. Now, mind you, it was chicken legs and chicken thighs. That's all it was, really. But very tasty. I tasted it. Oh man, it was so really good.
The leadership have to tell us that to be on the right side of the yellow line is now.
I'm here now for 90 minutes. Oh joy. Back and forth, or I stand here, pretty much.
Right now they're damaging 2-3% of us per year in a very highly visible way, as in we're dead. It's going to drift to 4, 5, 6, 7%.
I have a choice. I can either get all greasy and deal with that ham, which I don't think so, because my eyes, like I said, aren't doing that great today. And it's already 8 o'clock at night, and I'm getting tired. And this goes for an hour and a half, right? Oh God, I gotta put this crackling away, otherwise there'll be none left for the salad tomorrow.
You and others have lost your incomes, and you are all now left sort of struggling and trying to figure out how.
Well, maybe I'll cut dates.
Some people have lawsuits.
I'm tired. I don't want to stand here for 90 minutes.
Because of the college, and
but I have to. So more than likely I'll do the ham tomorrow. And then I'm done. And then I can get back to focusing on what I was focusing. The buckets came in, so I have to wash them.
already reached out that they would wish to,
which is kind of cumbersome because on the lid they have stickers, right? You know, and you have to take Vim. And the last time I did that, I did 7 lids using Vim, and I ended up, I didn't wear gloves, right? So the Vim the bleach in the Vim kind of ate my hand, my skin. But I heal really fast, so it's okay. But this time I'm going to wear gloves. And then once they're done, it's boom, bam, bing. And then I'm downstairs sorting and putting stuff away. I might take some of these jars downstairs tomorrow just to get them out of the heat because they've been upstairs for, what, 2 weeks now? And not one jar is popped, so I'm very pleased with that. That's not to say they won't pop in 6 months from now or whatever, but chances are no, especially if it's in a cold spot. Okay? So, I'm not going to upload this because this is really short. So maybe I'll just turn this off and come back tomorrow after the jars are out, and we'll just pick up with where we left off. How about that?
Okay, people, guess who came in? We have this fella. He's been coming by every single night since when a mom moved in. But yeah. This one, I think, this one is stray because it's really dirty. Oh, yes! Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome. Like, yeah, you can see it's really dirty. It has an orange spot on its lips. That thinks it's homeless. I agree. What's that orange spot on your whip? May I see that orange spot? But yeah, if you put your hand really slowly. Oh, maybe that's just part of your body. Ooh. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll open the door for me to see to see if it was out there. It was just sitting at the door, waiting for food. And, yeah, now I just told me to get a bowl of cat food, and putting it in. Let's see if it will come in. It came in. Hello.
Hello.
Oh.
Well, you're puffy looking. I scare you?
I think it's just a part of its body. The orange.
Yeah, because he's Persian. So how's his fur?
Really dirty.
Yeah, because he's a stray.
May I pet you?
Yeah, see?
Thank you.
Way with cats.
That's really dirty.
He wants to be an inside cat.
Not an outside cat.
Yeah, you want to be an inside cat, don't you?
I showed Little Mo in the video too. Said hello. Well, Mo came in the basement actually.
Little Mo has already made her spot in life here. She put everybody into check. Yeah, I've never seen such a bossy cat as Little Mo.
This one talks to you.
Yeah, this one's a talker. You a talker? But you have a friend in Andre, don't you? Yeah.
I gave it water, but it does not want it.
Oh no.
But yeah, it's really
It only
funny.
comes out at night.
Yeah, not day.
Because it sleeps during the day. It hides. It's scared during the day.
But yeah, it's a nice
Well,
cat.
he likes to be pet.
Yeah.
Or she. I'm not sure what it is yet.
Tisha thinks it's a he.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
It was actually right here. Came right down to Willow.
Yeah, but
They sniffed each other.
well, maybe it is a boy. I doubt it, though. Are you a Tom? You're an awfully friendly Tom.
What was that cat, that black one that always stayed outside?
Well, that was a Tom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Boots 1 and Boots 2.
Oh, yeah, Boots.
That one was really a stray.
Yeah. But if you call it...
Hey.
Here. Oh, let me go over there.
Can I pet you? What does it want?
Yeah, it's just part of its body. The orange spot.
Did it go outside?
Yeah.
See, it talks.
What are you trying to tell me? I don't know what you want.
It's scared. Maybe it's because of me. Here, keep the camera and come back and see if it comes back in when I leave. Could be me. It's nervous. It's not people friendly.
Yeah.
So I bet you will come back.
It's just sitting there. What do you want? Come on.
Say where would it was. Come over with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. No. Could I pet you? No. What? What are you trying to tell me? You want to come back here? Yes. I don't know what it's trying to tell me. Do you want to come back in? It will come for the food if I bring it closer. Watch. Want food? Want your food? And that's what you want, eh? Can I pet you? Yeah? Just sniffing around outside. Little Mo, what are you doing? No. You can't. No. Little Mo. Being a camera ham. What you staring at? What are you staring at? Yeah. What you staring at, huh? What are you staring at? Do you see something? Hmm? Hmm. Are you boots too? Hmm? Are you boots free? Is that what you are now? Boots free? You really like me paying you? This guy really likes me to pet it. They really like each other. Yes? Yes? Do you want to come inside? Stay out of the rain for a while? Think? You can come inside. It's okay, you can come inside if you want. This guy just likes to stare off over there. Where's this staring at to? I don't see anything. You are a nice cat. Oh, you don't want me to leave? Huh?
Okay, so January 13th of 2023. These are done. They haven't popped, so that's good. $14 in chicken minus $4, and all that was legs and the thigh with a little bit of the you know, back in it, right? Got me 1 jar. That's it. So $10 of chicken got me 1 jar. However, I got the crackling, and I got almost a quarter pint of chicken fat, to which I'm going to freeze. It's in the fridge now, but I'm going to put it in the freezer. Okay? And then we got, oh geez, turn on a burner. And then we got, with the pork that I had there, 5 jars. And with what I gave to my son, I probably would have gotten, well, at least 3. It was a fair amount of meat, so he lucked out there. 3 to 4 jars with what I gave my son. Right? Because that was 2 jars, or 2 packs, and a bit of something else, and I got 4 full jars, and they're full. So hold on. Okay, so just remember, you don't need a very large workspace in order to get a lot done, okay? It can get annoying, but you can do it. Okay, so what I'm finding here is Save-On Foods, for whatever reason, their meat discounted. Honestly, people, outside of that pork, it's not very good. This ham should be fine. Now, it's fine, I'm pretty sure, okay? But it's coming to its end. I can really smell the hickory smoke in it, and I'm not too happy with it in terms of happy, but before I give it to the animals, okay, I'm going to process it and then see what happens from there. So in the meantime, I took out the fat, I cut it up. It's here in a cast iron, to which I'm going to leave here for now, because I have the other fat that's in the fridge from the other pork that was real fatty. I'm going to cut off some of that and I'm going to put it in there, and I'm going to end up rendering this. But this is done at 250, whereas this is the ham, to which this is the stock that I made last time I did ham, which is still fine with the bone in it, to which I'll give to the animals because, you know, they like food. I've tasted this. This is fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour it in there. And then I'm going to cook it up in the oven. And then I'm going to taste it. Honestly, if I don't like it, it's going to the animals. If I like it, then I will can it. Okay? So, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was just a, you know, this one should have went straight into the freezer if I wasn't going to cook it up, quote unquote, that night. Okay, now I've been doing this a long, long time, over a period of years, so, you know, never ever had a problem, per se, quote unquote, right? So that chicken, after I rinsed it off and stuff, was perfectly fine. So I'm smelling the hickory, but I don't know. I'm still debating. Okay, so I put that in the oven with some tinfoil on top. That will go outside for the animals. They can do whatever they want with that. And then we've got pineapple slices here. And we've got, this is tidbits, okay? So, but before I put that in there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait and see how it cooks up and kind of what it tastes like, right? If I'm not satisfied with it and I think I can salvage it, then I'm going to add that in there. If I really don't like it, it's going outside. Hold on.
Okay, guys, we're back. The cat is right there, so I have to get it out. Come on. Huh? It's not that safe. Yikes. Where is it? I'm not sure this is it. Come on. Yeah, they should pop this off. Food? Yes? I'll go get your food. Okay, I'm back. That's still there. That's the my cat food as well. Oh yeah. We are just gonna get this cat out. In here. Oh, that's just one more. I have to scare it out. you have to come out. Okay. Come on. Come on. Come on out. Just this. I'm gonna turn this off for a sec till I get the cat out. By the way, if you hear my snuffling, I have a cold. Okay.
Well, it will go where it belongs, or it will go back underneath the tree. One or the other.
I'm gonna put the foot up. Plus that one comes in fast.
You have to check the rabbits.
They have water, I can see.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Must be nice to be able to see.
It is.
Okay, we'll see if that animal comes back. There it is, right there. Here you are.
You thinking, like, do I want to live here or do I want to go back?
Where do you live? Not running away too far, you see, that's the thing. Kind of makes you wonder. People banning their cats all the time, right?
I'm gonna go put on my side and go see where it is.
Well, it's not going very far. It'll probably come back up. It's just these little bitches, right? The alpha bitches in the house, eh? Okay. It's good. I like it. I'm not going to add the pineapple because the juice itself is really tasty, and you can tell it has hickory smoke in it, and the meat is tender and tasty, so this is fine. It's delicious, actually. Now it's delicious. So there you go. So now I'm going to put that cast iron into the oven at 250 and start rendering that. Not going to worry about that other fat right now because I want to get this. This is hot. So I'm just going to cover it up and I'm going to fill up my jars and get it into the pressure canner. And when it's pressure canning, that's when I'll cut up the other fat. I like it. Okay, so basically, if it would have been raw pork, yeah, it probably would have ended up being animal food. But because it had been smoked, right, and it was a ham, you know, it can sit in the fridge for a little longer. Okay? So if you're not sure, okay, I'm just saying, if you're not sure, because it's not what you're familiar with in terms of freshness, okay, you can do like this. And if you're still not satisfied with it, then yeah, by all means, pass it on to the animals. Okay? For what it's worth, that is. Okay, it doesn't look like I'm going to get too many here. But I think I'm going to get a fair amount of lard. Okay? Because this one tended to be a bit more fatty. But I'm not complaining though because I'm getting the lard. Now, I chose not to put the pineapple in after all because I like the taste just the way it is. If I didn't like the taste and I thought I could salvage it and make it maybe sweeter to where I'd like the taste, then yeah, I would have put the pineapple. But because it's really good now, like really good, I'm not sweating it. So, in a situation like this, this is where every jar kind of starts to add up, people. You know? And that's what's important here. You know? This time next year, it's going to be $40 for a ham. Not to say I won't buy a ham for $40, but you know, it's not like anything I want to because, you know, I gotta, now, I made it where I can pay my bills, pay my rent, you know, work on selling off some stuff. I'm not sure yet I need help with that, so we'll see. My kids never seem to want to help me with that. But besides that point, and work on, you know, moving out, because the house is not conducive for Amari. And I'm tired. I'm tired of this house. It's not an easy house to live in. So, you know, when I move, I don't know. All I know is I gotta work towards it. And that's what I'm gonna do. Right? And now that I don't have to do food prep, other than little miscellaneous things like this as I go about my daily business, then it's not a big deal. Right? In terms of, I don't have to buy a lot of food. I did another top off after I did for Shelly. I was going to do for myself one more shop in what is it? In May. But because I bought those buckets, I decided, no, wait a minute, no. I think I'm going to buy some Mylar bags. I got 10 5-gallon and 10 2-gallon ones. And I'm going to experiment with them. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to experiment with them. And so I went off and I bought another 44 pounds of hard red wheat, 44 pounds of soft white wheat, another bag of chickpeas. I got those whole oat kernels to make oat bread with. In the event that oats go disappearing, I can still make an oat of something with my dates, right? So I'm not sweating it, right? And what else did I get? I think it was, well, yeah. So they're going to be coming soon. But after that, people, and after I get them in these beautiful buckets, like seriously, what am I going to go do? Buy some salmon from Walmart? Just a few cans of the, oh, definitely I'm going to buy some more cans of pineapple. Just stuff like that. And we'll do this still the odd time, but I'm going to make this accessible for my son. Right? When I get downstairs, that's what I'm going to be doing. Okay, hold on. Okay, so now I'll finish this video. So we got another 3 jars of actually very, very, very good ham. And the broth is really delicious. After I filled up the jars, I drank the rest of the broth, and oh my God, you don't even know. So, now this is the lard from the ham for the most part. And a little bit from that other pork that I bought that was quite fatty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip it over onto this plate. I don't know. I'm going to take off the gelatin. And then I'm going to heat it up. I'm going to put it into jars, so hold on. So once again, it just comes off. It's pretty straightforward. You can see, okay, easy peasy. I am not freezing this one. I want it in jars. So I'm going to melt it. Now, I could make it shelf stable, which I've already got my jars in the convection oven nice and hot. And then what you do is you bring this to a boil. Well, not a boil, but almost to a boil. But because this has got hickory in it, I don't know. I think I'm just going to melt it, and once it's melted, I'm going to put them in clean jars. Right? All I have is new lids. So I'll just bring it up to a fairly good heat. Put it into clean jars. Put on the lids. Turn them upside down for a few minutes. And then after they're all back and solidified, I'll probably throw these ones into the freezer because of the hickory in it. But I'm sure it would be fine otherwise, but it's not going to be that much jars, so hold on.